All right, hi everyone. So today the plan is to demonstrate the live tracker plugin for Obsidian and the way I do live tracking within Obsidian now. So it's a plugin I've built that's available in open source. It's an open source project. So if you go to my GitHub repositories, you can find the link there. I will include it in the show notes. And so basically you have all of the code, you can install the plugin. It's not yet an official Obsidian community plugin, but it should be available soon. And so basically the goal with this plugin is twofold. So the first one is to be able to visualize information about your life. So your stress level, your energy level, the exercise that you're doing. So you can choose different visualization types. And the other goal is to make it much easier to track that information, because capturing the information is actually quite annoying when you do it with bare means, let's say. And so this plugin provides two things. One is a grid view that you can use to fill in the data quickly, and another is a command that you can invoke in your daily notes, basically to capture the information you care about. And so it shows a carousel that you can use to add the information to your notes. So let me show you first how it looks. So we are going to look at the live tracker view. So basically what this plugin does is it adds a new type of Obsidian base view. So if you have an Obsidian base like this health base that is included in my Obsidian starter kit, you can basically go here, click on add view, and add a new view, whatever the name, choosing as type the live tracker or the live tracker grid. So basically the first one is a way to visualize health-related information, life-related information that you capture, and the other one provides a way to introduce input information quickly. And so let's take a look at the first one. So I already have it here configured. So we can take the live tracker view. And here you can see that I can already visualize some information. Some has not been configured yet. But basically, it's a classic Obsidian base view. So basically, you go there to the properties and you choose the properties that you want to display. You can customize display name. So this is just a basic UI of Obsidian base views. You can filter the information to just take whatever you care about. So in my case, this is my health base, and it's taking all of the periodic notes, daily notes as input. So these are the notes that are pushed inside of this base view. And then the live tracker view basically takes that input, so all of my daily notes, such as this one, and the properties that you have decided to display, and renders those using different types of visualizations. So before we go further with this view and the other ones, I want to explain what the base problem was. So in my daily notes, actually to create my daily notes, such as this one, today's note, what I use is a template or template. And this template includes different things. So it has the structure for my daily notes, and also a set of properties that are added automatically. But as you can see, of course, those informations is not filled in when the note is created. So when I apply this template to create my daily note, I get all of the properties, but they don't have any values. And so if I didn't use a plugin or didn't create a plugin to do what I'm going to show you, basically I would have to go here every day, open the properties, and then find the ones that I care about. So let's say I want to track my sleep, then I have to select the property, enter a value. And so this is quite cumbersome and annoying. Takes a while. Also, the display is not great, so you cannot see the full names for the properties. You have to overdose or click on those to see the full values. So not really practical and easy to use. So what I did instead of using that is I created this plugin. So now to share more information, background information about my templates and why I have those different properties. So the goal is to really track information about my life, better understand the trends and the things that are not going well. So if I'm gaining weight, if I'm not in a good mood for a long period of time, if I don't feel energetic enough, if I'm losing focus throughout the day, if I'm stressed, whatever. So these are things that I want to track. So I'm not crazy about life tracking, but I do see value in capturing information about my health, my stress levels, what I eat, or when I sleep, and things like that. And so since this is quite cumbersome to do manually, I wanted to simplify the process. But basically the first step was creating those templates. And actually those templates are based on my Obsidian starter kit. So the Obsidian starter kit is a set of templates and plugins and configurations that I use to set up my entire Obsidian vault. It has documentation about everything, including the node types. And inside of the node types, I have, of course, the daily nodes and all of the properties that you can add to those, or that are added by default by those templates are documented here. And so you can see, for instance, I have the health sleep quality, which is a value between 1 and 10 that basically represents the quality of my sleep for one given day. And so, yeah, these are the things that I'm using as basis. And indeed, the problem is twofold. So first is making it easier to capture that information. That's one. And second, making it possible and easy to actually analyze the information to quickly understand what's going on in my life. So do I do enough exercise? Do I sleep well? How do these things relate to each other? So maybe I'm lacking focus because I'm not sleeping enough. Maybe I'm not eating well, not doing exercise, and all of those things interact with each other. And so the goal is also to be able to understand all of that more easily. So the way this plugin works is first you have to install it. So as I mentioned, right now you cannot find it here in the community plugins. You have to do the installation manually. I'm not going to cover this in this video, but you can use the Brat plugin for Obsidian, for instance, to install it. Or you can go to GitHub and download one of the releases of the plugin. So if you go to the main page of the plugin to releases, you will actually find all of the files that you need. So you can download this zip file here, and you have to unzip it inside of your Obsidian Vaults .obsidian/plugins folder. And once you do that and restart Obsidian, and you go to the community plugins, you should be able to find in the list the Life Tracker plugin. And once enabled, you have access to the settings of that plugin. And here I have a few things to explain. So basically you have the property definitions. So property definitions are basically configurations that you can add. So as you can see, I have defined configurations for all of the properties I have on my daily nodes. And so you can add more if you want. And when you add one, you have to define the property name. So as it appears within the properties of your nodes. You can define the type. So is it a text field? Is it a number, a checkbox, whatever? You can make it mandatory or optional, and you can define a display label. In addition, and that's where it becomes more interesting, you can also define the minimum value, the maximum values, a default value, and a description. And last but not least, you can create a mapping between those property definitions and specific sets of nodes. And the way you do that is you enable this. If you don't, this definition will apply to all of the nodes in your Obsidian Vault. But in this case, this is a property that only appears on my daily nodes. So what I do is I enable this, I choose a tag, and I set the tag that is used on all of my daily nodes. So that's how the plugin knows about the properties that exist in your nodes, basically. Second, you can configure the visualizations. I'm not going to cover this in detail, but basically it's a way to associate a specific property name, so the name as it appears inside of the properties, with a specific visualization type, a range of values, etc. Yeah, we are not going to use this right now. And you can also configure the animations in different settings. So going back to this, when you have your base view created, the next thing that you want to do is, first set the filter to make sure that you get the data that you need, in my case, my daily notes. And then you have to enable the properties that you want to visualize. In my case here, I have chosen a few. So I have the energy level, the focus level, my mood. Did I walk or not on a particular day? Did I do any push-ups? You can see that I have not been very active for a while. I just started resuming this. Did I do abs? And when you add a property and you don't have any presets for that property visualization, then you get this screen that basically tells you or lets you choose the way you want to visualize the information. In this case, it should be line charts. And there you can set the range. So it's basically going to adapt the visualization to the minimum and maximum values. And if you use the skip button there, it's just going to use the minimum and maximum values in the data set. So the values as they appear in all of the nodes included in the base, as the baseline to know what is the minimum, what is the maximum. And so the nice thing with this is that you get to create nice visualizations like this one, where you can see over time. So it's going to use all of the nodes in the data set that contain a value for the given property. It's going to give you a visualization of that. So you have small animations, nothing fancy, just for fun. You can maximize and minimize the visualizations. It's a bit buggy, but it doesn't matter too much. You can also select range for the information. So in my case here, I have selected all of my daily notes. So that's multiple years of information. But you can say, okay, I'm just interested in data from this month, for instance. And you can see that my focus has been going down, but I just have a few data points there. And so, you can select the range over there. Another nice thing that you can do is actually add multiple visualizations for the same information. So in this case, I have my energy level displayed as a heat map. So you can see that this was higher, this was lower, this was even lower. But maybe you want to be able to see that same information in a different way. So in this case, I'm going to add the second one, and I'm going to change this one to instead use a bar chart. So now you can see the energy level as a heat map and also as a bar chart. And you can change those, you can change the colors if you want. So it's quite flexible configuration-wise. Another thing that you can do with those visualizations is actually combine the information. So you can create an overlay containing multiple data sets, basically. So here, if you click on overlay, you can choose a certain type of chart. I'm going to use a line chart. And on this line chart, I want to see the mix of these two properties. So my focus and maybe my sleep quality and sleep hours. You can select multiple ones, at least two. And if I do this, scroll down because it appears below, now I get on a single visualization the combination of all of those values with different colors. So in blue, I have my focus levels. In green, I have my sleep quality. And in yellow, I have my sleep hours. And so that's a nice way to see different things combined together. And you can change those to have a different view of that. So it's up to you to combine the relevant properties to make the data useful and more easy to analyze. But that's up to you. So next, of course, is the important part is actually capturing this information. So before you can leverage it like this by visualizing it, you first have to capture the information itself. And so for this, the plugin provides two things. So the first thing is if you are on a daily node like this one, so basically a node that contains properties that have matching property definitions. So it's the case of this node. So this property exists on this node. That's why it's going to be recognized. It's right there. Now, if I invoke the live tracker plugins capture properties command, what I'm going to get is, for this specific node, a carousel first showing me the required properties and then the optional ones that I have configured. So it's 29 in my case, that's a lot. Doesn't matter too much, so you can just focus on the required ones and then skip the rest if you don't want to capture the information right now. But here in my case, I have already captured my energy level, my focus level, and my mood. My mood is quite good today, so I can put it to 8, can press enter to go to the next one. Yeah, this is a bit buggy, I will fix this later. I did walk a bit earlier today. My weight, not going to capture it right now. Sleep hours, okay. So see, it's just a process of going back to this every once in a while, maybe every day, if you have something that you really need to track carefully. And so you can quickly enter the information. So on a specific node, this is quite efficient. And when you change any of the entries, the properties on your node will get updated. Then you have a second option. So if you are on this base view, you can also invoke the capture properties command. And what it's going to do, it is going to open the model, but for the whole set of nodes that are included in this base view. And so in this case, I have all of my daily nodes. I have more than 1,500. And so I have all of those to fill in. And I can switch between different daily nodes using these buttons. I can also go back and just focus on recent days. And so it's a nice way to see, okay, did I capture this information consistently, and fill in if you have missed a few days of data capture. And you see the completion level for a specific node in this case. So there I did capture very little, there I captured a lot more. Okay, so that's the second way. Now, if you want to do this more mechanically, let's say, you can also use this other base view that I've created. So if you go to the live tracking grid, again, something that you can use by adding a new view and selecting here the live tracking grid. When you go to that view, what it's going to show you is basically all of the nodes that are included in the data set that do not have the information you care about. So in this case, I'm going to check the settings of this view. Yeah, I limited the time frame to this month, but you can also do this year. Then you're going to see more. Yeah, there's not any more in this case, but that's one way to avoid being overwhelmed by too many rows in this view. In this case, I just care about the information from this specific month because it's not necessarily relevant to go far back in time. And so here, what you see is all of the nodes corresponding to the selected period. This is just information about the current time. So I've just included the week as an additional column. So this gives me an indication about when that was. I could also include the months, for instance, to see, okay, it's the first month of the year, January. But these are just there for information. So basically, all of the columns that you select in this base view just appear here as read-only fields. But you can see that even though I just have selected week and month, I do see additional columns. And where do those come from? Well, basically from the property definitions. So since those nodes contain properties that are known, that have known property definitions, here I'm going to see one column for each of those. And the color they will appear in depends on whether the property definition or that property is required or optional. So it gives you a visual indication about whether you should be filling that information in or not. So my focus on the 1st of January, I think it was about 1. I didn't have much energy. It was much better already and even better on the 3rd. And so you can quickly update all of those fields. And so I actually did work quite a lot on those days, but in the last two, I didn't really work all that much. And so you can track this way all of the information you care about from a single grid quite easily. And it works also for different data types. So you can capture text fields, you can capture lists, etc. So in my case, it's quite useful. I'm not very consistent about life tracking, but I do care because I have some health issues. And I do find it valuable to have a way to first capture the information, do it painlessly, let's say. So this is not too tedious for me. I just have to take a minute or two and I can quickly capture what matters. And so that's useful in my case. And then having this ability to quickly analyze the information visually, that's priceless because this is something that I can print out and show to my doctor. And so they can see, okay, you've been eating well, you have been sleeping well, but ooh, what's going on there? Yeah, so that's one way. So you can see it as a way to track important information about your health, but also as a way to track your consistency. So these fields or these properties could be about, did I publish something today? Did I write something today? Did I work on what I intended to work on? So you can also use it as a productivity tool in some way. So seeing your consistency level over time or your output levels over time. In my case, I just focus on health related information, but again, that's up to you. The plugin is quite generic, so it works for daily notes, but it should also work well for other things. And so, yeah, I think that's about it for this explanation. So, to me, life tracking is something useful. You don't have to be fanatical about it. I mean, if you see my grid, I'm not consistent all of the time, but that's not what matters. I mean, it's not about capturing information mindlessly. That's what I often say with knowledge management in general. It's not important or relevant to be fanatical and try to capture everything all of the time. That's tiresome and it doesn't make sense. But if you face a situation where you have health issues and you don't really understand why, or your doctor tells you, oh, you should be keeping attention and track what you've been eating, how well you've been sleeping, and things like that. And yeah, I think that this is definitely something that can help with that. And the nice thing is that, as usual with Obsidian, all of this is on my computer. These are simple text files on my machine. I have full control over it. I don't have any worries about my privacy when storing this information. It's not going to be shared with third parties, service providers, and whatnot. And so, yeah, quite useful, quite privacy preserving, and voila. That's about it for today. So I hope that you will enjoy this. I will keep you updated about when this plugin is available as an official community plugin for Obsidian. But as I said, for now you can install this plugin manually and it works quite well already. That's it for today. See you later. Bye bye.